ISO 14001 is the International Environmental Management Standard. It's been going for a number of years now. It's very popular. There's over 300,000 organisations globally who are certified to this particular standard. And it's a way of integrating environmental management practices into an organisation and its business operations. And it does this by looking at where it impacts on the environment and then identifying those areas which it could improve and then setting objectives and targets for continual improvement. Well, the standard brings a number of benefits to organisations, and the type of benefit will vary according to the nature of that organisation and its principal activities. But at a very sort of simple level, it can result in considerable cost savings. For example, if the organisation is looking to reduce its energy consumption or other resource use, then that has a direct impact on the bottom line. The requirement of the standard to comply with legislation means that the organisation has a better handle on its legislative requirements. As a consequence of that, then it is less likely to suffer from non-compliance issues, and that leads to reputational benefit to the organisation. And it can also be a great benefit to staff who like working for organisations where they see that they are attempting to reduce their environmental impact. There are changes ahead. The last standard was published in 2004. So over the past year or two, it's been going through an international review process. There were some perceived limitations to the standard as it exists at the moment. One of those is that although top management is intended to have a key role in implementation of the standard, it's perceived that this isn't necessarily always the case. Somewhat of a tick box approach perhaps to implementation of the standard. So the review process has attempted to overcome some of these perceived limitations, going forward to a final review due for publication later next year. And the kind of changes that have been brought in, as we understand at the moment from the draft, include a far greater role for top management and leadership. There's a whole section dedicated to what they will have to do and their responsibilities in taking the standard forward. Also, there is an emphasis on integrating environmental management into the core strategy of the business. So therefore, an organisation is intended to take note not just of its own environmental impacts, but also the effect that other aspects of the environment, for example, something relating to climate change, could have on the business operation itself. And this is quite a fundamental change and means that during the development of the business strategy, the environmental issues are supposed to be at the heart of that process. Another key change is that organisations are required to take a life cycle approach to looking at their environmental impact. So that means looking at the raw materials used for a particular process through to final end of life. This depends on the organisation. An organisation which is certified to ISO 14001 will have a 3-year transition period after publication of the standard during which they can be certified to the new standard. An organisation which is currently not certified but is working towards ISO 14001 can continue to do that against the existing standard, and they will have 18 months after publication of the new standard in which to get their certification. If they do that, they will still have to comply with the new standard within the 3-year period from publication.